Hello there, Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a fun card making video. Today's video is part of a hop introducing the brand new website, Crescent Creation, started by my friend Neha. She has previously had a Etsy shop and has now started her own website where she'll be carrying products from Honeybee Stamps, Avery Elle, Pink Fresh Studio, and many more like Ranger. And she also has products of her own, like these digital stamps. I am going to be using this cute little slide from this digital stamp set today and some of the sentiments to create my Christmas themed card. So let's jump right in. I am cutting out the slide, doing a little bit of fussy cutting, taking my time so that I can get a nice cut out image like that. Now for the sentiments, I'm bringing in a banner die set from Honeybee Stamps and die cutting out the words sliding by and also to say hi, even though I'm going to be altering that one to fit my card today. So these banners worked perfect for cutting out the sentiments, and I'm sure you have something like this on hand that you could use, or you could easily cut these with a paper cutter, whatever works for you. And there's always fussy cutting, right? So there we have those all cut out and ready to go. And I am bringing in this cute Polar Pals stamp set from Avery Elle. Avery Elle is one of the product lines that will be available at the Crescent Creation shop, and they will have plenty others as well, so it can be kind of like a one-stop shopping place, which is so exciting. And I am going to color everything out now with my Copic markers. So I'm starting with R27 for my darkest red color, and then R17. I'm going to use both of these colors again on the slide for the detail on the edges. So these handles and then like the edge of the slide as well. So I'm putting down my darkest color first. I like to do that with red because red has a tendency to bleed out. So I don't like to overblend my red markers at all. So the darkest color is going in first, and then I'm blending that out with my lightest color. And I'm not going to go over it multiple times, which is fine because it's really a small thin area, so I didn't need to add a ton of color. And I really like the red accent on this. I'm kind of going for red, pink, black, and gray for my color combination today. Now I did have a couple spots where the red went out of the lines. I don't even try using a colorless blender with red. I just bring in my white gel pen and kind of make a mark over the top of that little spot that went out of the lines. Now for the slide itself, I'm bringing in C4 as my darkest color, and I'm using the chisel tip of my marker. It's such a large area that it was easier for me to use that end, and I like the streaky look of coloring this slide because it's like what a real slide looks like in my mind. At least when I was little, slides were metal and they were hot. And your skin would stick to them. Now they're plastic and they're mostly like green where I live, but I thought a metal slide worked best for my card today, and so that's the look I went for there. So I'm adding some white gel pen highlights to this now, and then I will move on to coloring out my penguin, which I'm also going to be using some cool gray markers for that, but I'm coming in a little bit darker, starting with my C8. Then I will bring in C6 to blend that out, and then C4. Now I find there's like a pretty big difference between C4 and C6. So I just need to go over this a few times to really like blend those colors together. Now a lot of this penguin is going to be covered up because he's going to have a hat. The little flippers are going to be in front of him. He's going to be behind the slide. So really the ink blending on the penguin is not super crucial. For his little beak, I am going to bring in yellow and also give him some pink cheeks with R20. So Y15 was the color I used for his beak. And then I'm using those same pink markers, R20 and also R21, to add some pink to the hat. I wanted it to look more like a wintry hat than a Santa hat. So I brought in the pink for that. And now I'm adding white gel pen highlights to all of those things as well. And then once that's done, I can go ahead and die cut this out. There is a coordinating die for all of them. I'm trying to show you all the markers I used, except I didn't include the R27 and R17 for my reds. Sorry about that. So now I'm going to die cut out all the things. I love that Avery Elle has dies for both flippers, and it's not just one flipper and one die. Very cool. Next, I'm bringing in Spun Sugar Distress Oxide ink. This is going to be my wintry sky. I love a pink sky for a lot of things. It's so fun. So I ink blended that about halfway down my 8 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch panel, spritzed it with water. Then I brought in Kitsch Flamingo, and I'm using that to add some pink splatter on to this card panel. It's a little bit darker, so it'll show up a little bit better once all is dry. But I am not going to stop there with the splatter, because you know me, love splatter, and Avery Elle has this amazing shimmer spray. So I sprayed that on there. I kind of got a lot. I ended up dabbing it off a tiny bit, but it's still super shimmery. I also had this glittery cardstock in my stash that kind of had a pink tint to it. So I decided it would make the perfect little ice panel for this card. And I thought straight across was going to be fine because it was ice. And then I decided, it's going to look better rounded. So I went rogue and just cut it with my scissors, and I didn't hate it. So there it is. Next, I'm going to attach my digital stamp, the slide, to my traditional stamp, the penguin. And I was quite pleased with how these went together. Like, sometimes line thickness can be an issue when you're going between different stamp companies and digital stamps, and these ones work together so well. And I do not have a slide in my stash, so having this digital stamp with a slide in it made me so happy. I think it's really a fun image that you could use with a lot of things, not to mention the digital stamps that come with it. But I think this worked really well for the Avery Elle Peek-a-Boo pals. Actually, what happened is I asked my daughter, what animal do you think is most likely to go down a slide? And she said a penguin. And she's right. So I decided that this would be a fun way to use that slide for a Christmas card. So I trimmed off the word hi from that sentiment so it could say sliding by to say happy holidays. The happy holidays is from the Polar Pal set. I stamped that out with red ink. Does it make you sad to stamp your clear stamps with red ink like it does me, because then it's stained forever? It makes me sad, but I do it still. So there's my sentiment stamped in red, and I fussy cut around it so it was bubble cut. And then I decided to mount it at the bottom of the card with a little strip of pink behind it. And when I was doing this, actually I was already like editing my video, and I felt like my penguin is so sad up there at the top of the slide. So I'm going to add to this, not only with these cute clay snowflake bits from the Crescent Creation store, but with another friend. So I'm just gluing these little clay elements down to add to that Christmassy, wintry feel of this card, and it does the trick. I'm adding this to a slimline card base that is 8 1/2 by 3 1/2, and it's nice and bright red. So here's the little penguin's friend. He is not sad anymore at the top of that slide. He's just waiting for his turn to slide down the ice. So I'm going to tuck this little polar bear with his super cute scarf right behind my Happy Holidays sentiment, which had yet to dry on that glitter paper. So I was super lucky I could peel that off and stick down the polar bear, and then have his little paws tuck or be popped up on top of that sentiment. I think it's so adorable. So now I am super happy with this card and how it turned out with the two little polar friends on there, and their little paws and flippers sticking up always steals the show with the Avery Elle stamps. And I couldn't be more pleased with how these stamps worked so good with that digital stamp of the slide. I'm so excited to have that slide in my stash of things to go with all my other Avery Elle stamps as well. I thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure that you comment down below, and I have links to Crescent Creation's shop and all their social medias so you can follow them to get more entries into the drawing. They're giving away 4 $25 shopping sprees to their store. So be sure to do that, as well as click the link to the next stop on the hop for more chances to win. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you all again very soon on the next video. Happy stamping! Bye!